The relaxed, dreamy sound of a major 7 chord shape is built from the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th notes of a given major scale. Hello friends, and welcome back to Swiftlessons for another beginner-friendly guitar tutorial. One of the most important details to progressing on the guitar each day is to master the foundational elements, those techniques that have a lot of mileage or real-world application. So in today's session, we're going to be expanding your knowledge of essential chords, learning all of the major 7 chord shapes that we have available to us in the first 3 frets, also known as our open position. You can follow along using my PDF study guide at patreon.com/swiftlessons. Support the channel there and gain access to a ton of extra resources for all my popular YouTube guitar lessons. Now, let's get started. Okay, a close look at the fretboard, getting started with section 1 of this lesson. Real quick, reviewing the origins of the major 7 chord harmony. Now, I've already mentioned that a major 7 chord is built by harmonizing the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th notes of a given major scale. It's best to look at this in the key of C, where we don't have any sharps and flats. Okay, so the C major scale in the open position is going to look and sound like this. Okay, so that was frets 3, 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, 0, 1. Or the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The building blocks for chords. Everything I need to create a C major 7 harmony. I've got my bass note, also known as the tonic or the 1, right here. 3rd fret of the A string, a C note. If I climb up the scale, I can find my 3rd. 1, 2, 3. An E note on the 2nd fret of the D string. Now we can find the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The open G string. Now we have our major triad. 1, 3, 5. C major. Now add into that triad, we can find the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The open B string. Adding that into the harmony, and we've successfully created a major 7 chord shape. It's that easy. And of course we can have the high E string as well, because that was already a part of the harmony, the 3rd, right? Okay, so on the guitar, oftentimes we have notes that repeat themselves within a given chord grip. Okay, now that you understand the music theory behind the major 7 harmony, let's learn 8 of the most common grips that you're likely to come across in popular music, right here in the open position. Okay, going through our 8 natural keys, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. For each shape, I'm going to show you the finger positions, and then I'm going to identify the intervals that are inside the chords. Okay, so getting started with shape number 1, we have A major 7. I've got the open A string. I've got the 2nd fret of the D string with my middle finger. My index finger is on the 1st fret of the G string. And I have my ring finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. We also have the open high E string. Okay, inside this A major 7, we have the tonic or the root note, the open A string. We have the 5th right here on the D string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's an E note. We have the major 7 right there on the G string 1st fret. And we have the major 3rd there on the B string. We have a repeat note, the 5, on the open E string. A major 7. Okay, now moving on to the key of B. This is a much less common shape because in the key of B, we ordinarily play major 7th chords using barred shapes or this jazz grip up the fretboard. But it is possible to play a kind of beginner-friendly open position B major 7 chord if you limit your pick to 4 strings. The way it looks and sounds, like this. Okay, so I have my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, my index finger on the 1st fret of the D string, and my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the G string. We also have the open B string. Now we can also add in the open high E string too, but that's technically not a strict major 7 chord shape. Okay, because we're adding in the 4th interval into the harmony. Okay, but it does sound nice. Okay, so this is a B major 7 chord in the open position. We have the root note here on the A string. We have the major 3rd, 1, 2, 3, on the D string 1st fret. And we have the major 7 right there on the 3rd fret of the G string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now all of you should be seeing the connection between the scale and the chord shapes. The scale tones are the building blocks for the chords. Okay, now moving on to the key of C. We've already learned this one, a C major 7 chord shape. Okay, once again we have the 3rd fret of the A string, the 2nd fret of the D string, the open G, open B, and open high E string. Okay, the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the major 7, and the 3rd again. C major 7 chord. Okay, very good everybody. So far you've got the A major 7, you've got the B major 7, you've got the C major 7. Now we're moving on to the 4th chord. This is going to be D major 7. This one's quite simple. Okay, I'm just barring my finger across the 2nd frets of the G string, B string, and high E string. I also have the open D string. Okay, so we have our root note. We've got the 2nd fret of the G string, which is going to be our 5. We've got the major 7 on the B string. And we have the major 3rd on the high E string. Okay, so root, 5, 7, 3. The D major 7 chord shape. Okay, you can also stack your fingers too, if that's a little bit more comfortable, or if it's going to make more sense in the particular tune that you're playing. Okay, now moving on to the key of E. This one, like the key of B, is certainly more often played in its barred position, or perhaps this jazz position, but you can still play it in the open position. While it's not super common, it's still really good to know. So this is the E major 7 chord in the open position. Okay, it's kind of an awkward hand shape, which is probably why it's not often played. Okay, but like I said, still good to know. We have the open E string, the 2nd fret of the A string with the ring finger, the index finger on the 1st fret of the D string, the middle finger on the 1st fret of the G string, open B, open high E string. Okay, so we have the bass note or the root. We have the 5, we've got the major 7, the major 3rd, the 5 again, and also another root. E major 7 in the open position. Okay, very good everybody. So far you have the A major 7, you have the B major 7, you've got the C major 7, you've got the D major 7, and you have the E major 7. Now we're moving on to a chord that is super, super common. This is the F major 7 chord. I'm going to show it to you in a few different positions. The first one is technically F major 7/C, because we're going to have a C in the bass. Okay, my ring finger's on the 3rd fret of the A string. I've got my pinky on the 3rd fret D string. My middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. My 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string, and I also have the open high E string for an F major 7 chord /C. Now you can also play this less robust version without the /C like this. Again, very common, the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. Okay, now, the other version of this that I want to show you is going to be useful as a movable shape. You can play every major 7 chord in the book with this shape. Looks and sounds like this. Okay, so we have our index finger on the 1st fret of the low E string. We have our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, the pinky 2nd fret G, and the middle finger on the 1st fret of the B string. Okay, then the open high E string as well for F major 7. Now, if you block the A string and block the high E string, you can actually use this create every single major 7 chord in the book. Okay, so inside that first shape, we had the 5, we have the root or the 1, the major 3rd, another 5, and the major 7 with the high E string open. In our alternative shape, we have the 1, the major 7, we have the major 3rd, the 5, and the major 7. Okay, F major 7 chord in 2 different positions. Okay, very good. Thus far, we've learned the A major 7, B major 7, C major 7, the D major 7, the E major 7, the F major 7 times 2. All right, that brings us to our final chord for the day. Very simple, very, very common G major 7 chord shape. It's gonna look and sound like this. Okay, I've got my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, open D string, open G string, open B string, and the 2nd fret of the high E string. Okay, so we have the root or the 1, we've got the major 3rd, we've got the 5, we've got another root, we have another major 3rd, and we have the major 7. Okay, for a G major 7 chord shape. Okay, that's a wrap, everybody. We have 8 new chords to practice. A major 7, we have the B major 7, the C major 7, that one's super common, as is the D major 7, the less common E major 7, 2 extremely useful, very common versions of the F major 7, and the very common G major 7. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Alright friends, thanks so much for checking out this lesson. I hope you enjoyed reviewing these fundamentals. If you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to hit me up down below. As always, big thanks to my supporters at patreon.com/Swiftlessons. Hope you're enjoying all those extra resources. And thanks to you guys, I got many more lessons coming up, so keep checking in. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.